I'm Bruce Hunter, Associate Executive Director at AASA for Advocacy and Communications, and with me is Noelle Ellerson.
Good morning. I'm the Assistant Director for Policy Analysis and Advocacy here at AASA.
And we'd like to talk about what AASA has going on in the area of advocacy. First of all, we have an advocacy conference July 12th through the 16th here in Washington at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, about one block off Capitol Hill. It is a terrific conference that will inform you about the issues and give you a chance to speak to your members of Congress directly about how those issues affect you and your school district. Some of the things that you may want to talk about is Noelle has just finished a survey of the continuing economic impact of the recession.
Absolutely. It was the 11th in our ongoing series looking at the impact of the recession on the nation's public schools. This one focused in specifically on projected job cuts for the 2011-2012 school year, this upcoming one starting in August. And we were unfortunately in the position to report that job cuts are almost as high as the anticipated amount last year when we did an identical survey in the push for the EduJobs Fund. The amount of education jobs on the line for this school year is 227,000, which is just slightly below the 275,000 we reported last year. We were alarmed to see it that high, but we went through the data bit set, and anytime we could, we took a lower estimate, and it is still that high. It makes sense, though, when you put it in an entire context. It's been 3 years of consecutive budget cuts for school districts. States and locals are still having budget instability as the recession wears on at the local level. You have federal education cuts in the annual appropriations, both in fiscal year 2011 and anticipated federal fiscal cuts for FY12. And you have, more importantly, the cessation of the ARA and EduJobs dollars. So the very crucial role that both those rounds of emergency funding played in helping to save educator jobs is really apparent now as that money dries up and goes away and schools are on the edge of and falling off the funding cliff that's been talked about since the passing of those dollars. So the implications of these jobs, 227,000 nationwide, has implications for increasing class size from about an average of 15.5 to 1 to 16.8 to 1. And also it has implications for other areas and sectors in the economy. We talked with Dr. Lawrence Mitchell at the Economic Policy Institute, and he indicated that for every 100,000 educator jobs on the line, you have a trickle-down effect of about 30,000 other sector jobs that are cut as a factor of declined revenues, declined expenditures from the teachers who have lost their jobs. And that puts the overall number somewhere around 270,000, 280,000 jobs when you factor in the education and other sector jobs. Related to that, when we did this this survey on the job cuts, we also released a joint resolution that AASA worked with the National School Boards Association to release, and this is calling for regulatory relief for the nation's public schools for this coming fall. And while AASA's main priority would be for complete reauthorization of ESCA, the political reality of that is slim to none, and anticipating the need of member school districts and getting some relief from the onerous provisions, we've released a petition online where school districts and school boards are signing on urging the department to exercise their ability to provide regulatory relief, just suspending additional sanctions for this coming school year. The Secretary himself has indicated that 82% of the nation's schools would be labeled as failing. And if that doesn't highlight how broken our accountability system is, we don't know what does. And this joint resolution goes a long way to really helping urge the department into action before the start of this school year. And so bringing it full circle, the timing of our advocacy conference in the middle of July is excellent. Come to DC, weigh in early and weigh in often with your representatives and senators. Talk to them about ESCA reauthorization, but also the need for regulatory relief. It will also be prime budget and appropriations discussion time to really talk about the importance of investing in education and recognizing that every dollar in the federal budget is not the same. Just as when you spend $1 on education and you get more than one in return, when you cut $1 in education, you lose more than $1. So the disproportionate cut that education took in the FY11 long-term CR and the proposed disproportionate cuts in FY12, on top of the continued economic recession for the locals, is just a perfect storm, and the July Advocacy Conference is an excellent opportunity for you all to come in and weigh in with your delegation.
Come to Washington, make your voice heard. Let's see if we can change the trajectory of what's going on here in Washington. Hold the line on the cuts and get a reauthorization of the ESCA that makes sense for local school districts. Thank you.